Tom!
Tiger, what events do we have coming up?
Well, this Saturday we're throwing a surprise party for John Thompson at the store.
We are? What?
Really?
Cool.
No, we're not doing
Oh!
but we
Tiger's
are
the best.
doing,
I was gonna say, is it gonna be like free buffalo chicken pizza?
maybe.
On
No,
John Thompson.
John's gonna get his favorite gift.
We're just gonna
Disappointment.
steal John Thompson's credit card and throw a party in his honor. But
I think if we get him drunk enough, he'll never know because he probably never pays attention to his pay stubs.
Yeah, John, you're
Actually,
the
I
man.
do.
Thanks a lot, man.
Soccer, did you approve this?
Sure. Sokka's all for party.
now we're actually doing a tailgate party next Thursday
It's next week already? Wow, yeah.
for 300.
Ooh.
Rise of the
Empire,
Dead.
James.
And you know how those tailgate parties go, don't you?
Ooh, how do that go?
Sure.
Well,
Let's remind everybody.
there's some free beverages, alcoholic and otherwise. Sometimes there's some food. And then we pull a percentage out of a hat, and everything in the store
That
is
is
anywhere from 15 to 60% off.
Tiger has a heart attack.
We also have the March Madness sale.
Yeah, go ahead.
For all of March, all the back issues and the bins are going to be 30% off.
What?
Wow! Holy snickerdoodles.
That was cool.
Holy
See, like,
shit. Holy snickerdoodles.
Oh my god. Wow.
March 15th, we have John Berlia and Michael Serra in the store.
The uncle.
March.
Yes.
Wait, Michael Sarah from Superbad?
They're gearing up for their next Kickstarter for the next volume of Unmasked. Yeah, come down and support.
Continuing Ed's joke, that means he can sign your copies of Scott Pilgrim. I have a question for you, Ed. When you were doing the commercials, I'm wondering, do you act in front of a mirror like a lot at home?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh, okay. There's no way that you try to do different voices. You seem like you're lonely when you're at home, and that you just act in front of the mirror. You probably like ditch the mirror and like come back, like swoosh your hair, and
Well, part of that's
Sort
also.
of a baby faces. So
Also,
I've been drinking over 3 months.
in high school with forensics, I was constantly acting for 10 minutes at a time in front of a random group of 6 people.
Okay.
So just throwing out random stuff, just kind of.
I just imagine doing like the jumps back and forth to the mirror, like California.
He falls to the top, bashes the door, breaks the hinges.
And by the
Major
way,
thought on this
since we, in response, I was actually kind of David Finch is a great artist, but I was a little disappointed because they have announced that Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang will be ending their run together.
Oh.
And Wonder Woman is I definitely top 3, maybe the best book.
I gotta say, I mean, like 28 issues is a great run. You know, that's epic run.
Yeah, very true.
Oh yeah.
Considering nowadays where, you got comics like Secret Avengers that are ending in issue 16 and then restarting.
Didn't Wolverine end at issue 13?
Don't
Now restart?
Don't fucking be that guy, man. Come on.
Sorry. There's a maxi
Well,
series.
just the fact that it's ending, I want it to go on forever. I do.
Red
Well,
Wine
what?
has a real
Because
letter.
I'm a selfish bastard.
I'm sorry.
The stories will continue.
You can have Harley Quinn.
I actually really want to ask. All right, so a very anticipated series was the Harley Quinn series.
Oh, you're asking my
What's
opinion?
everybody?
I love it.
I think it's a pile of dog shit.
I think it's alright.
I like it.
I think it's a lot of fun.
I mean, I agree with Ed on the fact that I don't think DC really has that kind of tongue-in-cheek comedy series going on like where Marvel has it with Deadpool. So I think it's kind of fun. I don't know. I'm digging it, man.
No, that's
I
fine.
like that. I don't need everything to be world-threatening and heavy. Comics.
It's weird because it has a very sitcom feel.
Yeah.
It just happens to take place in the DC universe.
What's
And a lot of wacky
what's
stuff.
bugging you about it, Tug?
I just think it's boring, poorly written, unexciting.
I think it's a little forced. I do like it, but I think it's a little forced. I think the best thing going for it is the artist. I'm enjoying the artist. Who at the moment I
Tony?
forget his name. Sorry.
Wait, what's the question?
Harley Quinn.
Oh,
Thoughts?
I absolutely love it. I mean, I'm always been a fan of Palmiotti and Connor. Even if Connor's not doing the internal artwork, I love fucking covers. And I mean, the stories are really like, you know,
She's
one
co-writing it with Jimmy.
Yeah.
They're married.
Love
really?
and Maverick.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I learned something new today. But yeah, I like the art that's on it. I mean, it's one-shot stories. It's nothing too complicated, too weird.
And you
I
have-
think that every brand should have like a little book, like how Valiant has Quantum and Woody.
Yes.
You know, it's a superhero book, but
Yeah.
it's fucking great. You know,
Tiger, do you like Quantum and Woody on it?
I never read it.
Okay,
Oh.
there you go.
It's my pick for next week.
Tiger, do you like Deadpool?
Here and there, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sad because Brian Posehn's not going to be coming back with Jerry Dugan for that one, and I think they're like the best thing to ever happen.
For Deadpool?
Yeah, he's leaving.
Ah.
Dugan's taking.
I don't know, man. I disagree with you. I think that first story arc about the presidents was dragged out and boring after a while.
Agreed.
It's like a
That could have been
It's
like
like 9
4
issues.
issues and done.
It was a little long. I'll give it that.
As someone who knows all the presidents by heart, I found a lot of the sight gags pretty funny.
Okay.
I think you just made a good point though with saying that not every comic needs to be like world ending.
No.
Like Avengers, right? I love the Avengers books, but I feel like the main Avengers book is a little much because it just feels like all it has been is just leading up to this whole world ending.
Well, that's
kind of
one of the
conflict.
reasons why, for me, 2 of my favorite Avengers books have been Secret Avengers
Mhm.
and Mighty Avengers.
Yeah, Mighty's awesome.
Because, you know, they focus on a small group of Avengers and what's going on with them at that time, and that's
Great.
it. You know, I don't know. I feel like the big 2, quote unquote, on a whole, get away from that way too much. I mean, you
Agreed.
know, a lot of the stuff that I loved about comics in the 80s was there wasn't a lot of offshoots. You had your limited series, and even the limited series had to do with what was going on with the characters in that story. Like the first Vision Scarlet Witch series had to do with the fact that they wanted to have kids. You know, it wasn't that the Vision, you know, wanted to kill the Scarlet Witch. You know what I mean? It's I want to have fucking kids. You know, I'm an android. You know, you have the ability to hex.
I would agree with that. You know, I love characters. I love, you know, one of the cool things about Harley Quinn is she's really weird
Yeah.
and kind of stupid and genius at the same time, and it's just fun to hang out with her
Yeah.
for 20 pages.
Yeah, I think anyone who doesn't, who's not digging what it is somebody who doesn't really get that type of character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. You're looking at Tiger. I'm not looking at Tiger. I'm just saying in general. Harley Quinn has a huge fan base. There's a lot of people who,
Cult following almost.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people coming in and picking up the Harley Quinn book.
That's like half of Heather's layaway.
Yeah. Heather being Tony's girlfriend.
That,
Main squeeze.
the way you just worded that though, you're hanging out with a friend of yours for like 20 pages. Is that how you view like your comics and your characters as
Yeah.
like your friends that you're hanging out
That's
with?
how I view movies and books.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
I agree with him. That's. I mean, to me, like that's
And I
the thing that always attracted me to Peter Parker. I always felt like
Yes.
I was going along with all of his bullshit. You
And
know?
I would say, you know, I'm really into comics and movies and TV shows, and I don't get into music as much because you know, a lot of songs, just the nature of music.
You need the visual.
Well, no, it just, there are a lot of characters.
Okay.
You know what I
Sure.
mean? At least, you know, it's more of a feel thing from,
Uh-huh.
a lot, you know, at least a lot of the songs I listen to.
Billy Joel. So you don't relate to Captain Jack or?
No, well, Billy Joel I think is an exception because a lot of his stuff is ballads, a lot of his stuff is
I'm
storytelling.
just being a dick. I don't want to.
Okay.
Billy Joel's awesome.
I like Billy Joel.
Yeah.
All right. Let's not forget our picks for next week. I'll start off because Tony already mentioned mine. Quantum and Woody Volume 2 is trade paperback is coming out next week.
Quantum and
Nice.
Woody Zero Goat is coming out. So if you're interested in the goat at all, there
That
you go.
story
Here's
is
your
hysterical.
I'm glad no one's looking at me.
Wow,
picking She-Hulk #2 because She-Hulk 1 was tremendous first issue. It was really, really awesome.
Peter David.
Waffle chose Bad Blood #3, and I choose Evil Empire #1.
Bad Blood.
I read the
really
first
good.
issue of that.
Is anybody else reading Bad Blood?
Yeah, Waff actually,
the first issue.
he recommended I check it out. It was just, even from the first issue, it was a really interesting story.
I read the second issue. Really good.
I'm going to be picking up and trade, definitely.
It's a nice, anytime that somebody can do an original spin on vampire shit, I'm down with, man.
Okay.
Well, even like the fact that the first half of the first issue feels a lot like that movie 50-50.
Okay.
You know, it's
I love it.
just like this.
Gordon-Levitt.
It's about this cancer survivor, and then all of a sudden it just has that weird turn. You're like, oh, the shit's gonna come down now.
Yeah, the main character of the comic is a cancer survivor, and then eventually toward the end of the first issue, he gets bit by a vampire who's like, well, your blood's disgusting because you have cancer. So it's
So he doesn't turn. Or does he turn?
No.
Oh.
no, he doesn't. But
Sorry, spoiler.
his friend was killed by I think the same vampire,
Okay.
Yeah.
and he's kind of pissed off. And
Sounds
it's like,
cool.
hey, look, I got something that,
I know the
really
cover to
fuck
#2
these guys
is
up.
striking. I'll need to read it.
Tough Tony, what was your pick?
I chose Juice Squeezers #3. It's David LaPalme's writing it. Everybody knows from Stray Bullets and other stuff. And the thing I love most about it is that
Lapham.
Yeah, it's
Lapham.
Wait, what did he say?
David
LaPalme.
LaPalme.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but so I mean, you usually see him doing like cross mini series or like Straight Bullets or something that's either
Strange.
dark or violent or something like that. And it's just like a pretty interesting story about a group of kids, like in their tweens, who are basically fighting like gigantic bugs, to basically fight them all from like their little town. And it's an awesome read.
cool.
Is it a kid's book?
No, I mean, not essentially. I mean, I wouldn't call it a kid's book, but it's definitely like a fun read. But everyone just went silent after that.
Well, I went with Daymen #3, which going back to the vampire genre, it's
I thought you picked that one.
no,
No, that's Waffle.
the Waffle.
Bad
did.
Blood.
The one who's not here.
I picked Dayman #3. Just it's a really interesting take. The artwork is actually pretty sick. Took a while for the second issue to come out because they got optioned during the first issue being written. So I don't know what's going to happen with it as far as the movie coming out or anything. But the book it's basically about the heritage of the people who take care of the vampires during the sunlight hours, and
Familiars.
yeah, it's
Clean up their mess.
Really good book.
Yeah.
familiars, yeah. So it's really good, man. It's the second issue was great, and third issue's coming out.
My
so
biggest
three
complaint is
issues in.
just way too long for waiting in between issues.
Well, yeah,
At least it's not as bad as Sandman.
Yeah.
it's
Agreed.
true, man. Sandman, what has it been like 5
Have you
months?
gotten
About
issue
5
two?
months.
Have we got an issue 2 yet?
Nope.
Oh, Neil Gaiman, brilliant. Yeah,
It's supposed to be in March. Like March 26th, though, so it's like
Thanks
almost
for caring
April.
about comic people. Neil Gaiman.
Babyface, did you give your pick?
I said Evil Empire #1.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
This new book by the creator of Polarity. It seems cool.
Polarity. Who's created Polarity?
Go ahead, Dave Faces. Who wrote Polarity?
So you're a musician?
Yeah, Max Bemis.
Oh, okay. So you're sucking his dick because you like his music. It's probably a shitty comic writer, though. But you find all of the little fucking diamonds in it because I love his music.
I'm hoping it's good. Hey, I like Coheed and Cambria, but I don't like
Coheed
his
and Cambria
comics.
is bullshit.
I don't love his comics.
Alyssa Milano wrote a comic.
Activist is really good.
It wasn't that
Yeah.
bad.
Oh.
I enjoyed Hacktivist.
Yeah, she worked on
Charmed. No, Ghost Whisperer
Ghost Whisperer miniseries for IDW. That was really good.
with Jeff Love Hewitt.
So,
Another great musician comic, Gene Simmons.
The Zipper.
For combination.
I thought you meant Jeff Love Hewitt because she came out with 2 albums.
Nah.
She did have 2 CDs. Yes.
I have to say, it bothers me that like you make a pick based on a band you like when you know.
No, I actually.
You
Comic
liked
writers.
Polarity, didn't you?
I did like Polarity,
Yeah.
and the art in this book looks really good, and the premise seems kind of cool. So, I don't know.
Whatever.
Fine, Forever Evil number 5, done. Number 6,
I'm
actually.
just saying. There's such a pool of comics, but
I know, I
because
see
it's a
them.
band you like, you gotta pick it.
Should we like give him
But-
a couple of seconds to pick another one?
I don't think
No,
that's fair.
because no, it actually
Bullshit.
no, but it
But
actually
you like
does
the
look
comic
cool.
that he wrote
Yeah.
prior.
It actually
That's
did
fair.
like reading in previews. It does seem kind of.
Yeah, but
cool.
I've never heard you say to anybody, "Oh my God, you gotta get the Polarity trade." How many Polarity
I
trades are
sold.
flying off
I
the
sold
shelf?
out
That's
of
not
all the
true.
issues when it came out.
He did. He
I
did.
did. I've sold out of a lot of issues.
Yeah, but what about the trade?
I only have 1 copy. Did we sell it? Do we still have it?
I don't know. That's your job. You musician.
There's lots of books I love.
Oh, he plays great guitar. His comic is incredible.
He's so gifted.
All right.
There's lots of books I love.
Aw, like his feelings would honestly hurt.
Hey, back to vampires. American Vampire. Everyone should read. But people put it
There you
back on
go.
the shelf sometimes. So I give them trade, so they can't put a gun to their head till they buy the book. Because we don't have a gun in the store.
And on
Says
that,
you.
No, I don't know.
and on that note,
Tiger has several. Tiger has guns that look like other things. Our toilet is a gun.
Keep it in the most various places or anything like that.
That's right.
Whenever something happens, he's gonna reach behind like the Teen Titans like archive we have and just pulls out a 45.
Our label printer is a gun.
My Yankee hat is a gun.
That's right.
And the camera.
Is that why you've been looking at me this whole time while we've been in the podcast?
Tiger's beard.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm joking.
Moon Knight #1 comes out next week. I'm excited for that.
Tiger's hoodie is an all-terrain vehicle.
I don't even know what that means. I know what it is, but how does it work?
How does it work? He's like
Brown
ignition.
Sarah is a missile launcher.
Jupiter's Legacy actually comes out next week.
Ooh, well,
I don't
yeah.
think that's true.
No, that actually is. I don't remember what
I always
happened
get
in it.
these weird lists that don't.
That one actually is
books don't even
true.
have a list.
No, Jupiter's Legacy does come out.
Yeah, weird.
Took him forever.
all right. I'd like to thank our studio audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Today is my favorite.
Thank you.
Matt Flick.
No, I like Toothless fucking Connor. There's a member of our studio audience that played ice hockey.
He shakes reluctantly. Or not.
You played tonight? He goes,
Wait, no, before he showed up with his teeth missing. He was like, "Yeah, I played hockey in December." That was 3 months ago. Why are your teeth missing?
I had the tooth like sort of glued back in my face.
Wow.
Alright.
Yeah,
you gotta talk from Tiger.
Yeah, no, I don't want to. I regretted it as soon as I asked.
He had a tooth, but it was kind of turned.
It was glued back into his
You-
face. Evidently, there
you
was a
gotta
huge
pull.
infection. It was a whole big to-do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they make a
cra-
cast. I had to get a flipper made, and now I have to wait to get an implant.
He had a cast and he had to have a flipper made. What's a flipper?
He has a retainer.
The little
The
thing
retainer
with
piece with the
fake
tooth.
tooth on the end of it.
No.
Put it in. Put it in.
Awesome.
I don't know.
That looks like the same botulinum diaphragm.
Before we, I have one quick thing.
This is a forensics thing.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You gotta stop. You gotta stop with Kieran. It's a comic book podcast. It's over. It's over.
Is it really a forensics thing?
Oh,
it was.
come on,
You post it on Facebook. Everyone go to Ed O'Hara's
Yeah, we talked about
Facebook.
last week.
Exactly,
This
man.
podcast.
Post it on your Facebook, man.
If anybody gives a shit about Ed's various life things, then please go to his Facebook.
There you go. Let me talk about the fact that when I get home tonight, I'm gonna take a shit. I'm gonna take a shit, and I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna kiss my kids, then I'm gonna take a shit.
Wait, I'm visibly upset. I think. Go ahead.
No, it's
No,
all right.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, all right. For those of you who I had a whole rant about a year ago about this
A
one.
year ago.
A year ago.
It
So all
was a
7 of you
year
are still
ago.
listening about that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, how many times do we get people calling and saying that they're listening to old
Nobody
episodes?
calls
Had
in.
anybody call it?
They email us.
And not many. Chris Carbonell is like the king of the email now. And he's going backwards, so he hasn't even reached the
So
beginning.
anyway, I was coaching this one kid who was very talented and kept psyching himself out. And about a month ago, it finally clicked for him. And he won 3 major tournaments and ended up taking 5th place at the Harvard tournament.
That is cool.
Out of 411 competitors. So he's top-notch, absolutely one of the best in the country now at what he does.
We didn't win.
For what?
Yeah, I mean, how many bitches does 5th place get?
You know, back then, Tony probably wasn't even like shopping here again yet.
Back when?
Back when like this was first, because you said like a year ago, and
Mm-hmm.
so when you first talked about this, I don't know. Well, he definitely wasn't working here. Hi, Tony.
I was like an email contributor, I think, at that point.
Mm-hmm.
What was it for?
Well,
So,
congrats to Kieran.
Anyway,
So when
there was just one quick thing. That's all
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted to say. Congratulations to him.
Oh.
So yeah, Kieran Believe, and just one quick thing. There's another student who I've been talking with lately, and I just want to say this.
And when you sign on, you say this is WCBJ, the Comic Book Jones podcast. What does that have to do with forensics?
Yeah, most of the topics have nothing to do with comedy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So like,
But the topics have to do with us.
That is true.
yeah.
Yeah, and this has to do with me.
For those of you who want that witty banter, you can go to Ed's Facebook page directly to the podcast. All 5 of you.
So anyway, Kieran Believe, and Dan, I hope you get choked to death by a homeless person in the back alley of a pizzeria.
All right.
WCBJ, signing off.